couple of years ago, I was having a conversation with one of my more successful friends, about the same age, businesses very similar size. And he was telling me, Rick, I get up at 4 o'clock every single morning and I go exercise and I get an early jump on the day. This guy runs a global business, very, very successful. He's better looking than I am. He's got better resources than I have. He's got better mentoring than I have. He's got more systems than I do. He is all around better resourced, better capitalized than me. And so I began to think, I'm dealing with people like this. I'm competing against people like this in my industry as well. And so how do I compete? How do I at least be able to catch up with people like that? Because I'm dealing with those sorts of people who are my counterparts in my competitive businesses. And so how do I compete? And this is a question that you've got to ask yourself. Who am I competing against? Don't be wishy-washy. Don't think about, I'm not in a competitive industry. Everyone is competing. Everyone is competing. And so this gentleman was telling me that he gets up at 4 every morning. And I begin to think to myself, well, if he has more resources, more capable, he's smarter than I am, way smarter than I am, how I compete against that? Well, what if I could get up a little bit earlier? And so I decided for this past year to get up at 3:30 every single morning, Monday through Friday anyway, and get to work early. So the goal is to get to work by 4:15, sometimes by 4. And I want to give you a report of how that went and what some of the benefits, some of the drawbacks were, and some of the lessons learned were during that year. Now, there's a central principle that we need to learn is that you must be disciplined. You must be ruthlessly disciplined with yourself, but you must be able to extend grace to others. Discipline with yourself, but extending grace to others. And that is the proper mindset of a disciplined leader. You don't really need as much sleep as you think you need. You don't need that much sleep every single night, especially if you can catch up every week. And so you must be of the mentality, of the mindset that you're always playing from behind. You always have a chip on your shoulder. You always have to catch up. And so if you're disciplined, if you're ruthless with yourself and graceful with others, your ability to have that bulldogged determination will advance you over time, over iterations into the next phase of your leadership. Now, what are some of the frameworks? What are some of the lessons that I learned? First of all, I had to figure out how am I actually going to get up at 3:30 every morning? And so what I've done is I've always been able to get up at 5 or 5:30 every morning to get to work. I've got to advance that a little bit earlier, but I couldn't do it all in one jump. So what I decided to do was to get up 30 minutes earlier every couple of days, just move the alarm back and figure out where that would fall. And it actually stopped at 3:30. I began to get up at 2:30 and 3 some mornings, but it was just a little bit too early. 3:30 was a really great fit. And so the first thing I had to do was I had to figure out how to not to snooze. And so I put the phone in the other room in my closet, knowing that if I didn't have a charger by my bed, and I only had the charger in my closet, and the alarm went off that morning, I would have to get up, stand up out of bed, walk to the other room, and turn the alarm off. And if I was standing there in my closet with the alarm off, and I'm already awake, I might as well just go and put some clothes on and go to work. And so this is how I began to stack habits in order to functionalize that early morning routine. And so you always keep the phone in the other room. This is what I did work for me. And you never snooze. There's never a reason to snooze. If you stop snoozing, that solves many of your problems. The third thing I had to figure out was, if I'm only going to go to bed at, say, 10:30 and wake up at 3:30, how do I function with 5 hours sleep, right? All the doctors say you need 8 or 9 hours of sleep. It's not healthy for you to get 5 hours of sleep on a regular basis. What I've realized is that I could catch up. For me personally, I could catch up over the weekends. And so I'll generally have a good solid rest on Sundays. I'm able to sleep in a little bit on Saturdays, sleep in a little bit on Sundays. And over the weekend, I'm re-empowered. I'm re-energized to go out and attack the rest of the week. Third thing that's really, really important is establishing these habit loops. Remember I said that once my alarm goes off, my phone's in the other room, I've got to stand up, I got to go to my closet, I got to shut my alarm off. Hey, I'm already standing up. I'm already standing in my closet. I might as well throw some clothes on and get to work. That's the habit loop that starts the day. And so once I get to the office, I've got to drive about 20 minutes to the office. I make a coffee, have really, really good coffee is one of the keys to this is actually enjoying the coffee process. Make a coffee, go up to my office, open my Bible, open whatever sort of literature that you've got that you want to read, and go in depth on one topic. So for me, I read my Bible for an hour generally every day. And then after that hour, I can go into more tactical things. I could read about leadership. I can read the great literatures. I'm reading some Dostoevsky right now. I'm reading some Dante. I'm reading a little bit of Grimm fairy tales. I'm reading some books on leadership and discipline and discipleship right now. I'm also reading some books on presenting and basic tactical skills. And so I've got time to do that. And so I spend generally an hour becoming better, thinking about strategy or learning the great literatures of all time. And so after the first 2 hours, I spent 2 hours learning, building myself, building my credibility, building the base of knowledge that I can offer to the world. And I'm actually doing more learning in that 2-hour period than most people are doing all year long. Think about what kind of leader you could become if you were to read and grow for 2 hours a day. And by this time, it's only 6:15, 6:30. I still have a lot of time left before anyone else gets in the office. What are some of the benefits and drawbacks to doing this for a year? Again, I've done this for a year. I've got a lot of knowledge about how this works for me anyway, and I want to be able to help you think about getting up earlier and doing more in the morning. And again, one of the keys is that you must be ruthless with yourself and give grace to others. We have to realize that this is good for us. We all not only have to be disciplined with ourselves, we're disciplined for ourselves, on ourselves, because it benefits ourselves. You're disciplined in what you eat because it benefits you. You're disciplined in how you train because it benefits you. Only a smart person would be disciplined for something that's good for you. And so the first benefit that I realized was that in the mornings, between about 4:15 and about 8 o'clock, I have extremely high levels of concentration. I can focus on very, very deep things, very, very deep literature, things that have a lot of symbolism in them, things that are very complicated. I can read writings from 500, 1,000 years ago and be able to conceptualize these things and be able to synthesize ideas across various domains because my mind is alert in the morning. And what if you could have 2 or 3 or 4 hours of heightened alert in the morning? This is one of the benefits that's come from me waking up so early. The second thing is that in the mornings, I have massive amounts of energy. Massive amounts of energy. In fact, whenever I'm able to rest over the weekend, Monday morning when that alarm goes off, I jump out of bed and I'm ready to conquer the world. In fact, my alarm is named, go get you some, go get you some, go get after it, go take on the world. I have extremely high levels of energy early in the morning, and it propels me forward throughout the day because I've already done all the really deep, all the really important things first thing in the morning before most of my competitors are even awake. And so the benefits compound year over year, and that energy is something that I value and I treasure. In fact, I found myself, the longer that I get up at 3:30 in the morning, month after month after month, my energy and my focus have increased every month. I've gotten less sleep, but my energy and my focus have increased after a year of this. I have extremely high levels of energy, and I think you could see those benefits as well if you stick to it and you stay disciplined. The third thing is that you're able to live with more intention. You're able to live more intentionally, that you're able to go deeper, you're able to study more, you're able to put more work in, your capacity grows. And for myself, I found that the more intentional I am, the more energy I have. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that intentionality and energy go hand in hand, and they keep me focused on what's important. And probably the fourth thing that I found is that remember that work and business and life are all about feedback loops. You make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes, you re-implement and you rework, and you make mistakes, you implement changes after your reflection, and you rework. And so I'm able to do more repetitions because I'm in the office 50% more than most people are. And so every 6 months, I'm able to do 9 months of work. Every year, I'm able to do 18 months of work. Over 20 years, I'm able to do 30 years of work, 30 years of experience. But I'm getting a faster feedback loop, which means I'm getting better. My planning is getting better. My reading is getting better. My synthesization of deep concepts is getting better. And I think you'll find the same thing with your life as you be able to sacrifice sleep for something that's more important. And so what if you really didn't need as much sleep as the doctors are telling you? What if you could get by with less and catch up on the weekends? What if you could build a system and a process that you could outperform the rest of your competition, the rest of the leaders in your space? You could become more, you could do more, you could become the man or the woman that you aspire to be, that you're called to be. It all starts with discipline. Remember, you must be ruthless with yourself, but give grace to others.